69 seconds. That's how long it took Conor McGregor to turn 10 years of legend into a meme. He walked into that cage promising a demolition.
Destruction. I'm going to destroy Max. I'm going to eliminate Max. The final opponent of mine.
He threw one flashy kick and his own leg quit on him. No punch landed, no knockout. The greatest trash talker in the history of combat sports just crumpled to the canvas because he tried to be fancy. His opponent didn't beat him. Gravity did. This is the story of the fastest fall in fighting, how the king of the UFC became its biggest punchline. And to understand the joke, you have to understand just how good he used to be. So rewind, because before the memes, Conor McGregor was the most electric athlete on the planet. December 12th, 2015. Across the cage stands Jose Aldo, the featherweight king, a man who had not lost a fight in 10 years. The entire sport is holding its breath. 13 seconds later, Aldo is face down on the canvas and McGregor is champion of the world. 13 seconds. That was the whole fight. Burn that number into your memory, because we are going to need it again. Then he did the impossible. 1 year later, he beats Eddie Alvarez and becomes the first fighter in UFC history to hold 2 world titles in 2 weight divisions at the exact same time. Nobody had ever done it. He called his shots and then he landed them. He predicted the rounds. He predicted the knockouts. He strutted to the cage in 3-piece suits worth more than most people's cars, talking like a cartoon villain. And then he backed up every single word. That's the part everyone forgets now. For about 2 years, Conor McGregor wasn't just talk. He was the most dangerous man in the building. Remember that version of him, because you are never going to see him again. Here's where it all turns. Because in 2017, Conor McGregor found something he loved even more than fighting. Money. He laced up a pair of boxing gloves and climbed into the ring with Floyd Mayweather, an undefeated boxing genius in Floyd's own sport. Everyone with a working brain knew exactly how it would end, and it did. Conor lost. 10th round, TKO. But here's the twist. He did not care. Because he walked out of that arena with a paycheck reported to be north of $100 million for one night's work. And something funny happens to a fighter the moment he makes $100 million to lose. It gets very, very hard to get punched in the face for a living ever again. Something broke in Conor McGregor that night. And it wasn't his body. It was his hunger. The fighter became a brand. The killer became a businessman. He launched a whiskey company, and that whiskey was about to make him richer than fighting ever did. But first, the wheels came off. Completely. October 6th, 2018. The big comeback against the single scariest matchup of his career, the undefeated Khabib Nurmagomedov. So Conor does what Conor does best. He talks. For months. He insults Khabib's family, his country, his religion.
Mate, you're gonna be wrestling with knuckle out your orbital bone. After this fight.
He hurls a metal hand truck through the window of a bus, with Khabib sitting inside it on camera. He turned a title fight into a circus. And then the cage door shut, and the circus ended. Khabib didn't just beat him, he hunted him. Round 4, McGregor taps. The loudest mouth in the history of the sport, flattened and silenced. Then it boiled over the fence into a full-blown brawl. Fines, suspensions, embarrassment. But hey, everybody has one bad night, right? January 18th, 2020, he blitzes Donald Cerrone in 40 seconds. The whole world thought Conor McGregor was back. Except he wasn't, because that win over Cerrone would be the very last time Conor McGregor ever had his hand raised. Ever. Enter Dustin Poirier. Fight 1, 2021, McGregor gets knocked out cold for the first time in his entire career. The rematch, 6 months later, that one didn't even need Poirier to finish it. Conor's own ankle buckled and snapped clean in half, live on pay-per-view in front of millions. And in the most Conor McGregor moment ever recorded, he sat there on the canvas, with his leg pointing the wrong way, still barking threats into a microphone.
Your wife is in me DMs, hey baby, hit me back on my chat here later on. We'll be at the after party, the Win nightclub, baby.
The tough guy act was finally officially over. His own body had filed for divorce. Champion to cautionary tale in 3 short years. And somehow, the worst was still to come. and then nothing. For 5 years. 5 years of Conor McGregor being famous for absolutely everything except fighting. He sold his whiskey company in a deal reported to be worth up to $600 million, a 9-figure fortune for making liquor, not for throwing hands. He starred in a Hollywood movie. He picked fights on the internet and deleted the posts by sunrise. Every few months, a comeback would get announced, and then quietly disappear. The big Michael Chandler fight? Booked for the summer of 2024, then canceled because Conor broke his toe. Not in a fight, in training, kicking his own sparring partner. The most feared striker of his generation, taken out by his own pinky toe. He kept talking like a champion. He just stopped fighting like one. And the sport did not wait for him. New champions were crowned. New superstars were made. An entire generation of fighters turned pro and won belts. In the time it took Conor to book a single fight, he'd become the guy at the reunion still telling stories from high school, louder every year, because those stories were all he had left. But here's the thing about Conor McGregor fans. They never stop believing, they always wait. So the UFC cashed in on that belief one last time. July 11th, 2026, UFC 329, Las Vegas. After 5 years away, the Notorious returns, and the matchup is almost too poetic. Max Holloway, a man Conor had actually beaten 13 years earlier, back when both of them were broke kids scrapping for a paycheck. So, naturally, Conor promised the world. His exact words, "It's gonna be an absolute demolition, clinical." The bell rings, and a 38-year-old man, with a titanium rod running down the inside of his leg, decides that the single smartest thing he can do is launch himself into the air for a jumping scissor kick. He leaves the ground, he comes down, and his knee just gives out underneath him. That's it, that's the fight. He tries to stand, he slips again, and 69 seconds after the opening bell, the referee waves it off. Max Holloway barely threw a punch. He didn't have to. Conor McGregor beat Conor McGregor. The crowd that paid thousands of dollars to be in that arena booed him straight out of the building. Conor limped away without saying a word, and one fan online summed the whole night up perfectly. Conor is a clown. I feel bad for who paid for the tickets. And then the pile-on began. Fighter Kevin Lee. Bro jumped 2 seconds into the fight and blew his knee. Machine Gun Kelly mocked him. Islam Makhachev trolled him. And the entire internet turned the once most feared man in the sport into the Aaron Rodgers 4 snaps meme. He needed surgery. Again. So let's do the cruel math on this fall. It took Conor McGregor 13 seconds to become a legend. It took him 69 seconds to become a meme. 1 win. 1 in the last 6.5 years. 3 straight losses. A Hall of Fame highlight reel now duct-taped to a blooper reel of a man falling down. And here's the honest, uncomfortable truth of it. The tragedy isn't that Conor McGregor lost to Max Holloway. Great fighters lose. That's the sport. The tragedy is how he lost. He wasn't outclassed. He wasn't caught cold. He beat himself with a reckless move he had no business throwing in front of the entire world. Conor McGregor spent a decade screaming that he was the greatest of all time. And you know what? For a couple of those years, he may have been right. But greatness doesn't stick around just because you keep shouting its name. It leaves whenever it wants. And for Conor McGregor, it left a long, long time ago. He just needed one last jumping kick to finally prove it. If you enjoyed this one, subscribe, and I'll see you at the next fall.